The first attempt by Herpa Wings to create a Scale 500 model of a MAX 8 series aircraft ended in a huge disappointment. Will this aircraft follow in the same footsteps, or can they turn it around? We'll find out now. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 737 MAX 8 of Turkish Airlines. At the front of the box we have the cutout, so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the Turkish Airlines branding. This model was originally announced to be released in 2019, but then got delayed and finally was released in 2020. But that does mean that it follows the same box design that we have been given by Herpa Wings in 2019, and that means the only thing of interest we have here is an image of the aircraft in real life. And here she is, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the current livery of Turkish Airlines. Now, I must admit that when I saw the first promotional material from Herpa Wings for this model, I was very skeptical, especially after knowing how bad the TUI MAX 8 model that they released before this one turned out to be. But let's see what the model has to offer, and we will make a little comparison with the TUI MAX 8 later in the video. On the vertical stabilizer we find the iconic Turkish Airlines branding. On the fuselage we then find the full registration code of the aircraft type specification, and of course also this graphic representation of a tulip. On top of the fuselage we then also have this lovely sat dome, and at the far end of the aircraft we also have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. Then if we move to the front of the aircraft, we can find across the fuselage the writing of Turkish Airlines and the Turkish flag. We do also have the Star Alliance logo, of which Turkish Airlines is a member, and underneath the cockpit windows we then have the name of the aircraft. The cockpit windows themselves are fairly decently detailed, where we also have the window wipers printed on. If we take a quick look at the engine nacelles, we can see they have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but they do look rather nice in my opinion, although I think they should be a little bit larger. However, if we look at them from the backside, we can see the chevron nozzles pulled off very nicely. This is a very hard detail to make, and Herpa has consistently been able to do so very nicely on the MAX aircraft, and in my opinion even better than they have done with the 787. And that despite the detail here being smaller. If we then look into the engines from the front, we can see the engine fan blades very nicely. However, my opinion remains that I think these engines should be a little bit bigger. Anyway, moving on to the fuselage again, where we take a quick look here just above the wings, where we have the emergency exits printed on, and that of course leads us straight to the wings, which we should definitely also take a quick look at and talk a little bit about. Here on the top side of the wing we have all the different flap slats and spoilers carved out, although I think that could definitely be much better pronounced. We do however also have the markings for the emergency exits printed on, as well as the full registration code of the aircraft that we also find on the underside of the wings. So overall a little bit mixed here with the wings. However, the masterpiece should of course be the winglets, but they just aren't. I mean, I can't fault the print, that is great, no doubt about that, but they are too bulky, they're too thick. And we know that Herpa Wings can make really nice detailed winglets, because we know that from the split scimitars that we have on the 737-800 series. I know that's not the same winglet as we have on the MAX series, but it just proves that Herpa can pull off details like that, and I don't understand why they wouldn't do it here. Now, the biggest weak point of the MAX 8 from Herpa Wings, with the TUI at least, was the landing gear. That was way too tall. Now, when I look at the landing gear here, I get this sneaky suspicion that Herpa might actually have improved a little bit on that. It's still tall, and it should be taller than with the 800 series, but it does seem less tall than with the TUI they released, and that would be a good thing. So last but not least, before we get to the conclusion of this video, we also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here on the back side of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 of Turkish Airlines. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Is it an improvement from the 737 MAX 8 TUI model that Herpa released, or not? Well, I think it's a little bit a mixed bag. If you do first the most important thing and compare the height, because the TUI MAX 8 had a huge problem with the landing gear being too tall. And if we put them next to each other, very difficult, but it does seem like there's a tiny little height difference. However, if we put them next to each other and compare where the winglets are matching up, then we can actually see there's a clear difference in height. The TUI way too tall, and the Turkish Airlines definitely improved. So we are definitely getting closer to what Herpa actually writes on their boxes: small scale and lifelike models for adult collectors. Now, I would still not say that this is perfect, but we are getting closer. If they improve the size of the engines and improve the winglets, I would say we are very close. The print quality, I can't fault in this model. That is perfect all the way through. So where the TUI MAX 8 was a definitely do not buy, this one is at least consider it. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed the video, then don't forget to leave a like. Of course, leave your opinion on the model in the comment section below. I'm very curious to hear what you think about it. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.